Set me.
That system I want to look on, I think you are like. It's specifically built for now.
See where they go on our studios there, man. Mic check, 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 check. Mic check, 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 check. The mic check, the microphone check. This is microphone check from Dan Grigger. Checking the microphone from Dan Grigger. Grigger to Studios. What up? Grigger to Studios. What up? What's going on? What's going on? Grigger to Studios. Grigger to Studios. What's the dealio? What's the dealio? Grigger to Studios. Trying to get the sense. Grigger to Studios. Morning, I. Morning. Audio. Audio check. Grigger to Studios.
Good morning, mommy. Yes, I.
Grigger to Studios. Morning. I want to know him. Favoritism to go on, you know? Bless. I could get some ginger tea, please. Some ginger tea. Yes. We start the morning. Got the problem now? What's the problem now? Because I could hear the audio on my YouTube feed. We got the studios. We got the studios. We got the studios. Mic check. Mic check. We got the studios.
Huh? You get it now? Okay. All right, cool. Tell me if it is that.
On in. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Check. We got the studios.
Will you hang up on me, Pop? Get it out, I know, right? Alright. Clean. You're good.
Yeah, but I know 6:30 yet. I know 6:30 yet. Then they have to play the team song.
6:27.
Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies.
Start placing clean, yeah? Yeah, well, fuck this shit, you know. Huh? Back video? Back video?
If a Cliff call is on Friday, you know. He want to not get none. Alright? Shit. San flying holla for you now, no?
Huh?
San flying holla for you now, right?
Yeah, them for it easy. I don't feel no easy.
Boy, we like the feeling.
Sure. You got that see if I bite you. I don't plan to bite no.
Then they start with the host, then they will move to the crew. Watch it. Yes, brother, send no invitation, eh, sir?
Alright. Yeah. Yeah, most get him out of here.
Team song they play
You know get it? You not get it, man.
at 6:30. They don't need the news because we don't do no insert.
No, we don't insert. No, just a reach straight to the news. That's why make them want to edit the news this evening. Alright. Team song up? Alright. Anytime you're ready.
Team song they play.
Yeah, team song to run. Alright, baby. I'll link you later.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Wednesday morning, the 14th of March 2018. We hope that your morning is getting off to a beautiful start. We hope that you have great energy, great health, great vibrations. And selfishly, we want to be a part of your morning as well. We want to find a little spot that we can be in it. We want to welcome all our viewers, our listeners, everybody online, those getting us via simulcast coverage. It's WB time, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Belize's premier morning conversation. I'm your host until 9 this morning, Mose Hyde. And for familiar members of the WB family, you are looking at us and saying, well, okay, they're not back at the zinc fence. We are not. We are on the seashore of Dangriga in the south, the culture capital. And we're here celebrating Reef Week 2018. It's our annual tradition, which has taken us multiple times out of the studio, week-long excursions and adventures with Belizean coastal communities. And this year it is Dangriga. We're very excited and pleased to be here. And later on in the show, of course, we're going to get down to the purpose of being here. So, you hear waves, they're real, they're not sound effects. You see the trees in the background, they're not posters, they're real. Coconut palm trees, of course, swaying in the light northeasterly winds blowing here on this Wednesday morning. As we do normally, we get started with the weather forecast. We've got your morning news update. No music because it's hard to figure that one out because of a bit of a delay. So we don't get no music, but we're going to return with a little bit of music come Monday. Looking at the 6 a.m. weather update provided to us by the National Meteorological Service. Variably cloudy and slightly cool conditions linger over the area in association with cold front over the western Caribbean. The 24-hour forecast is for variably cloudy skies, few showers or periods of rain, especially over the sea and over the south today, decreasing tonight. There's also the chance of isolated thunderstorms over the south this afternoon or evening. Winds will be northerly to northeasterly at 10 to 20 knots. Sea state choppy to moderate. Looking at the temperatures, highs along the coast 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius, corresponding overnight low 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. Inland, a high of 84 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius, with overnight lows of 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night, cloudy spells along with isolated showers or periods of light rain. As for tide readings, a high tide today at 8:54. It's going to be followed by a low tide at 2:21 this afternoon. A high again at 8:23 tonight, and then a low tide tomorrow morning at 3:15. And that's your weather update, Belize. We now bring you the morning news update here inside the WB, and the news center, of course, prepared this update. And last week, we reported that a 4-year-old baby girl was raped in Bella Vista Village in the Toledo district. The mother told police that on February 9th, her baby girl, who is a special needs child, fell ill, and upon taking her for medical attention, it was discovered she had been raped. Police have since detained 3 persons for questioning and have learned that another minor who lives in the same yard was sexually abused as well. In related news, the Belize National Teachers Union says it stands ready to take action to demonstrate its seriousness in ensuring that appropriate measures are taken to secure our children's safety and their lives. In a release yesterday, the BNTU placed on the record its sadness, concern, and anger over the recent spike in violent acts against women and especially the most vulnerable population, our children. The largest union is calling on the government of Belize to spare no resources in addressing the issue. It writes, quote, "We demand that our government immediately identifies and implements measures to ensure the safety and protection of our women and children. The perpetrators of these heinous crimes must also be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." End the quote. The BNTU's Council of Management has met and discussed the concerns of its membership, and there is talk of a demonstration during the first day of the budget debate on March 22nd. However, we are told that the decision has not been finalized. Meanwhile, the Young Women's Christian Association has also strongly condemned the recent spike in crimes against our children. It reminds of the rights of children as protected under the Constitution and international human rights conventions. There were 3 separate shootings in Belize City over this holiday weekend, resulting in 5 persons being injured, one of them fatal. On Friday night, 3 members of the Loriano family on Olivera Street in Belize City were shot. Sanitation worker 52-year-old Bernadine Lariano died as a result of her injuries while receiving treatment. Her son Denzel and daughter Bernadine were also injured when a man ran inside the yard and fired several shots. The Lariano children remain in stable condition. On Saturday, March 10th, a promising Paluti student died while attending a birthday party at the Pickwick Club. Miracle Oho is expected to be laid to rest on Thursday. And asked about further investigation into allegations of Kirkland against Minister Anthony Boots Martinez, Prime Minister Dean Bauer said in an interview after Friday's House meeting that the Southside Poverty Alleviation Project is audited. When we asked if the audits are made public, he noted that phase 2 of the project is only just being audited. And that brings us to the end of the morning news update inside the WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, an abbreviated version of that news update. We will now take a small break and then we'll come back to get the conversation started. you've got to listen to us through the phone. You cannot listen to us through your radio or your computer or your television because there is a delay and it's going to confuse you. It's going to be a chaotic call. Everything will work perfect. Just call and listen via the phone. We can talk properly and nicely. We love the calls, and so we invite you for link with we. This is still a WB, CNWB. We just, they are much better studios. No disrespect to the studios back at the Zinc Fence, but this one is just a little bit more authentic, more vibrant, more flavor, more natural. We love it. And we want to as well say enough thanks to our hosts at the Tuwani Garufuna Resort. It's been extremely comfortable, warm, accommodating. I will stay. It's a very, you would say, authentic, extremely authentic Grigadang experience. Nothing artificial, and you get all the right things and the nice things and legitimate things, and we are very appreciative to be here. Clean, cozy, respect to the management and to the staff for being so warm and kind and accommodating to our crew here in Dangriga. In fact, right now, my day has started with a little ginger and honey, you know. Huh? I'm being spoiled indeed. I don't get anything that is zinc fence. So how you think I know I feel a bit pleased? You know, it's a naturally ginger by long, natural honey. Do right there. I have to give respect. I know the boss has to give respect that that we get that kind of authentic, organic kind of experience. Just to repeat, we got a live line for you to link with the conversation, 610-4770. Just we remind you to listen through the phone. No listen to the radio or your TV or your computer. All right? And once you follow that one instruction, everything going nice. Everything I work out how it work out. All right. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning to all.
Mr. Torres. Mr. Torres.
Yes, Canamo.
How you go, sir?
I am finding up on the show.
Are they on the show? You they on the show? Where they go on?
Okay, I got something moved. No, I just called to understand you're worried about me.
Well, I don't know if I worry about you. I know you're all right. I just not hear from you.
Well, something like that. Well, Monday when chat because the 16 kind of, too high for me at this point. But I am fine, and I will never forget you're good to me. Right now, the police recess, or I call it, I'm on a calling diet.
You're taking a little time off.
Yes, a little time off. Looking on.
Well, I think I'm really happy to take the time out this morning for shout you up. It's become the way we begin the WB. Your campaign aside.
Yes.
I would hope that you never only call me because you're in the campaign. I'm optimistic. I believe that your call because you try getting the campaigning on the side, but I think your call because you legitimately enjoy the conversations.
Of course, always do. And the privilege.
And I think the word that has been used very often during the election day and post-election day about you, I think, and I concur, is that to walk your own path, to walk according to your own drum, is to be of courage, and to be of sovereignty, and so we have to respect that. Obviously, we have not matured as an electorate to the point where we are able to be 100% objective in how we go about the process. We are influenced by flair. We are influenced by grandeur, and that's human nature. It's not just in the way we choose politics, but also how we choose many things. We are easily appealed to by grandeur, by flash, by size, and so we just have to live with that. But my brother, let's hope we continue and have good conversations. That was Mr. Torres. Our first call this morning. Actually, our first call yesterday was we got a shout out from Mrs. Gwen Nunes Gonzalez, and that was great. And this is WB from Guigadang, and we have to try to accommodate a legend that has stopped in here by our seaside studios. This is a very expensive studios. You know, get this. This is as expensive as it gets right here. So we seaside, sun, see everything that happen. We love the vibes. Now, before we shift up the conversation and shift the vibes, let me just quickly say that I would be remiss if we don't really deal with the fact that things get so out of hand in our community that we've now reached a point where the street conflicts have no line, have no limit, so that as a result of the street conflicts, a 52-year-old mother is slain and her children harmed, hospitalized. They're not involved with what was taking place, but they have been deemed as targets that are a part of the ever-running, consuming street conflicts in Belize City. And all this is happening, it's almost like this concentrated kick in the gut for the community as we hear reports of children being harmed, being raped, brutalized. We now have to deal with a middle-aged mother being considered as fair target in street war. Now, I don't say this as to say that street war is acceptable. Any level of street war is unacceptable. But I have to say to the people who are involved with the street wars, when you start to say that mothers and sisters and aunts or any family member is a legitimate target, it then puts in danger all your family members. Because the thing is with family members is that they don't know who you have a war with many times. They don't see themselves as a part of your problem, your beef. And what happens? They are not hiding the way you are hiding. They are not armed the way you are armed. So they are soft targets. When you start to kill off people, ma, kill off people's sister, kill off people, brother. And again, this is not to say that we want you even to kill off your opponent or who you perceive to be your enemy. But when you go to the next level and say, we ain't kill any who, the thing about that is that is a circle. It's not a straight line going out from you. You have created a circle that comes back around to you. If you kill mothers and sisters, you're basically saying your parents, your immediate family are all fair game. So we have to really think deeply about one conflict where have no limits at all, no value per human life. And we have to be completely shocked, if we have not been shocked by just the sheer number of deaths we have had over the years, to think now that not only will the prime people who are involved with street conflicts be on the front line, but now immediate family members unwillingly have been signed up for that based on the actions of their loved one. And we really have to think. And the whole community have to think. Because then, lot of with a relative and family and friend. So, everything changes when we not care. Just as long as we could inflict, if we can inflict the physical pain, we'll inflict the emotional pain of that person losing a loved one. The killing of Mrs. Lariano, Miss Bernadine Lariano. Not that this is the first time we have seen where a family member has been targeted, but this is one of the most graphic instances of it. When a middle-aged mother is slain in such a cold-blooded fashion. So it is, we have had many lines that we have crossed in our community. It's as if though, where the time it's all over, there won't be any at all. We've seen where babies are not off limits. Elder women are not off limits. The propensity to kill has really gotten to a very, very high level in our community. And like I said last week, I don't want to be knee-jerk. I think it's important that we don't be knee-jerk. There has to be a consciousness that the mayhem we are observing are the symptoms of deep structural flaws in our community. And if we approach it as if though attacking the symptoms is attacking the structural flaws, we will continue to be like a dog chasing its tail. We never get a hold of the problem. Yes, we are angry. Yes, we are frustrated. We are distressed. We are in despair. But our solutions cannot be shallow. Our solutions cannot be knee-jerk. Our solutions cannot be temporary. That is sometimes the convenient thing to do, because taking on the real monsters in our society and in our community requires courage, and it requires stamina, and it requires wisdom. And that's a lot of work sometimes for a community to take on collectively. If all we are going to do is to be for a day or a couple of hours, express and vent our anger, vent our frustration, but then when we are confronted with the structural enemies, we don't want to take it on, then essentially what we are doing is maintaining the status quo, leaving the environmental factors unchanged that produces what we are observing, the things that really rattle us. It's one thing to be rattled. It's another thing to have this staying power to try to fix some of our problems. There's a lot more I would like to say. There's a bigger conversation that needs to be had. It's a difficult morning. We've got guests lined up. We've got to get in with our guests. So we've got to take care of that. what we will try to do is to even, you would say, figure out how to move our studios around while we are. So maybe we could move this away, my brother Harlan, so I can get in, go around, and we can get in a legend from Guiga. We have been visited by the great Pen Caetano, master, artist, musician, and he just stopped in our studio for giving a little shout, so we have to adjust ourselves. We can't wait and take break and all of that. We have to get the brother Pen line up early morning. Bear with us a bit. Remember, our straight line is 610-4770 for you to get into the conversation. As we say, greetings
my brother.
to the legend,
Yes,
the
yes,
master.
yes, yes. It's nice
Welcome
to be here. It's
After
nice
you
to
come,
be
give me
here,
a little
boy.
shout,
The
man.
truth. Because then, you know, it's a TheMadrocka, man, and the studio out here by the seaside is just nice. And I just get to understand you were here from yesterday, but I think you were here from the weekend, no?
We're there for the week, yeah?
Boy, that's
For the
good,
time.
man. I like to be here with you, and yeah.
I like the studios.
I like the studio, I like the space, I like this atmosphere behind here. We are by the seaside. I think, so what is our agenda for this today?
Well, you know, we're marking week, but you know, I'm in
Week,
Guiga.
yeah,
I'm
so-
in Guiga, so we have to
Yeah,
get a little Guiga vibes into the
yeah,
mix.
yeah.
I visited your gallery yesterday.
Yes, yes,
So you've
yes.
said that Billy City kind of like losing out because you used to make these annual, maybe multiple sojourns to Billy City every year, but you're saying, man,
Yeah, I
it
think
work better right there,
I
yard.
think it's working better at the yard right now. But what I want to say on this today's reef show is that yeah, the reefs, the whole Belize and the whole sea, the sea, we talk about sea, right?
Yeah.
So the sea, I remember way back when Baron Briss used to come down here, when Baron Briss was living here in Belize, and he used to live off of the sea. The sea used to be his
That was even before your time, though.
it's a beautiful time. But then this guy used to live on the sea, and the sea used to be his monies, no?
Provide the food.
Yeah, because then after all, when Brian Bliss was around, Edward Ernest Victor Bliss, that time there, he never come to the land. He used to live on the sea there, and he used to get his fishes and sell his fish. But today now the reefs is changing, not true?
Yeah, well, I think as with anything, there are challenges.
Yeah.
And so you find out that most people who have been fishermen for a long time will tell you that there was once a time you go out there and you
Yes,
spend one hour and you
that's the
come
thing.
back with loan big thing.
Yeah. So now,
But now the thing, big thing gets scarce
get small.
and it's harder to find the little ones.
Yeah.
And so we have to confront how we go about utilizing it.
For true, boy.
That's something we're doing after we, know.
Yes, because I think the sea is very important for us. We live by the seaside. And then, I don't think, do you think if they have anybody who is studying the marine biologists here in Belize? Most anybody?
I think we have, I'm sure we have people who have studied marine science. We don't have enough.
Yep.
If you're one of your nation's most prized asset and resource is marine, then it should be reflected in the way we are teaching our children.
Exactly.
The opportunities are going to be there. So it should be a stronger part of the curriculum.
Well,
We should be teaching. I was talking to Major Swazo here at his hotel, at his spot, and he was telling me that he has been working with Delil to get a couple of students familiar with navigation. And with, that's an important thing.
that's an important thing for us.
We cannot jump in a boat, no mean you know how to navigate,
Right. And then we're living so close to the sea. Look, take it for instance, the Holy Ghost School or all the schools on the coastal areas here. These students supposed to be taking some marine biologists because we are so close to the sea. We can even notice when I went to my studio last time. You see some shells on the wall, right?
Yes.
Those
Beautiful
shells. Those shells
flock of shells.
come from the seas right here. And those shells, I don't know if anybody knows most of those shells, because even myself, I wasn't a person from the sea, you know. I was used to be a person from the farm.
Yeah.
My father used to be a farmer, and they have other people who used to be from the sea. So these sea people here, most of the sea people here, I think that they're supposed to be going more into the seas.
I
No?
was talking to a young sister from the BTIA Griga branch, and she was saying that what they have recognized is that even though Griga is right on the coast, right, and the reef is right in their front yard, that a lot of people have not, gone
Touch the
out to the
sea.
reef,
No,
don't know the reef like that,
Yeah,
and that the challenge is to make sure that, as a part of the bringing up
yeah.
of the youths,
We
they
supposed to
have to
be
experience
go
that.
to the keys.
Because well, since we tell them the reef beautiful, they never get to see it.
Right.
They not get to appreciate it. They not get to see that there are opportunities they could get out of it.
Exactly, and this is right in front of our eyes, right in front of us. So I think that more or less that the people of Belize, whole of Belize, is supposed to be more aware of our seas, no?
Yeah.
Because then the seas is most important for us, because of the sea is our life.
Now, for the benefit of people, give you an opportunity to plug the studio. Because there will be, if they want to reach the Caetano
Studio Gallery,
gallery,
well, you can come by. You can come to Dangriga number 1. You come to Dangriga, and then you can come to number 3 around the crescent,
yeah,
and that's behind the economical school.
yeah.
And come in and see some painting and some art, and
There are signs, you can't miss it.
you can't miss it.
Once
Definitely.
you reach ecumenical,
Yeah, you are already
you're
inside.
there.
Yeah, but
Because I remember when you used to be on the main, and I said, but I don't know, I said, I don't know how I'm going to find you.
yeah, but that's just I just moved there. That was in the 90s. There, I moved to that location, and that's my home right now.
Yeah.
That's my
Your
immediate
home,
home.
your gallery.
My gallery, everything is there, and then I find it out to be just homely. And Dangruga, I love Dangruga because then Dangruga is not because of my home, but it's a beautiful town. The town of Dangruga by the river there, we are by the sea. It's just a beautiful town.
Beautiful vibes.
Beautiful vibes right here.
And so you remain a man of many interests. Music, art, farming, gun your yard, you have chicken. Well, the possum, you said the possum,
the possum was eating my chicken, man, for true. But then today I'll be getting some ducks, some ducks coming in there, and then I think I've already covered down the hole where the possum was coming from, and then I think I'm going to be a better vibe soon. Yes.
So it's a balance of things that, that the youths have to be prepped to know how they could convert their own yard into a place to provide food.
Yeah, I think. I think that Dangriga is a place where you have a big yard. You can easily plant anything what you want in your yard. Everything just grows. Just put the thing in the ground and everything grow. So I don't think that it's going to be a problem for anybody to put anything. But I think the people are not planting things. They're not planting. They're not going to the seas. They're not. They are just. I don't know what they are just. I don't know.
They have to get back to the roots.
They have to get back to the roots. The roots is the center of our place. So then by just not doing the things that the laws of the earth is telling you, it's going to be hard for us.
So deal with the roots.
Deal with the roots.
Real roots, man.
And the sea is right here. The sea is very important. The barrier reef, everything is right here with us. And I think that we're supposed to be more connected to our country, you know.
Yeah.
Our country is very highly recognized in the world. This is not only a hiding Belize again like one time. Belize is open to the world.
It's not a secret again.
It's not a secret again. It's open to the world. Everybody have a Belize, so Belize is supposed to be, and then we're supposed to just be taking care of our own hometown, of our own country, that foreigners couldn't just come in and just take up the lands and so from us, and the seas and everything from us, right? And I think maybe I don't know if we're going to be working like this, but then I think we're supposed to be taking care of our own natural resources like this.
We have to take care of the resources. That's why we're here, and there is going to be a reef fair right at the park here on Friday.
Oh yeah.
So you would have a lot of organizations come out, and Griga gets an opportunity to really be a part of all of that. All the students will be able to come out. There'll be displays, there'll be, you know, just information that will be available, just to try to create that consciousness of just how valuable it is, and for us to see the many ways that it can be utilized, because it's not, you know, everybody cannot become a fisherman.
No.
We're not, the fishing can't reproduce that fast.
No.
But there's so many different things you can do from just the reef experience and the reef opportunities. So I think it begins with knowledge.
It begins with the knowledge for true, and then the people supposed to just be getting aware of these things that we have here. You know, these things are very important to us, and then we're still not even grasping to find out more about our resources. You know?
But we have to, me and you don't fully agree. It's all about the experiences where we get the youth then.
Yeah, that's the youth for true.
To me, that's one of the greatest responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy, because you have to deal with the fact that the youth now want it on Facebook.
Yes, that's it.
They want it on...
Well, I can understand that the modern things is wrong.
They are wrong.
Yeah, but
you don't lose you don't want to lose the roots.
That's the thing.
Nothing wrong with Facebook.
No, nothing wrong with
if
that.
they got the roots.
Yep.
Because you could put the two together. If you so love dep on your leave phone, the ding.
Yeah.
You could also learn to leave one or two things about the ground.
That's the thing, because then I think most of the people in Belize are just going on the Facebook and on the computer, forgetting about the natural things around, forgetting even to plant a food, forgetting to just
I wish I take a picture of your oven we got with your build.
Oh yes, it's a beautiful oven.
Brick.
Yeah, that's a beautiful oven, because you know all these things is necessary for people to survive with, you know, and then not having that is going to be like, I got to use my gas stove every day, and then we have woods here, woods on the ground, woods all over here. So then
you actually use the coconut husk.
Coconut husk and the
along
wood.
with the wood.
Yeah, so that's the way. I think it's an easier way to live, a cheaper way to live, and then I find it out to be like, it's economical to me. Yeah, and this is the way I supposed to live, and then I think the people supposed to could see some of these things here too, and try to see if they can do something about it.
All right, we're going to call, make us see if this person want to go on. Good morning, WB.
Moses, this is Nico Kenna. We're on our way, bro. We're there in the next 5-10 minutes.
Well, we're there live on the my brother, so pull up.
Yep, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, man.
And of course, we want to say good morning to whole Griga. Shout out Griga.
Well, good morning to all the people at Dangriga and even the Belize and all over the country, because then this is our beautiful country right here, and then we got to appreciate it. And this is the way we're supposed to be doing right here, relaxing by the sea here, just showing off what we have. It's very important that we show up. This studio is very good here, my brother, because then people can see what we have here. No?
I think people many times they have a consciousness of Griga about the jump up and the vibes and the fests and the party and the celebration, and they don't have that consciousness to realize. But you know what? Griga just as coastal as Hopkins, just as coastal as, because we're up on the beach really. We're up on the beach.
Yeah, and this is the way we supposed to be, you know, enjoying this beach. And on the seaside there you can find cindery. Cindery is a little thing where you dig from the ground there. It's a thing that we usually eat. And we have laweo, these little crabs, and they still grow on the seaside here. If you dig right in front of you, right there, you're going to find a cindery right now. And so laweo. Those are the things I used to remember as a little boy. I used to be digging up these things here and cooking on the sun right on the fire here. Right
Bubble and thing.
Bubble up right there. Because then Dangriga used to be, it still is one of the #1 place in Belize. Dangriga.
Full of niceness.
Full of niceness. Everything's still growing there. Everything, you see, everything. I can't explain how Dangriga is so beautiful. Yeah, because Dangriga is a place where, boy, I'm telling you, this place is so beautiful. The sea, the river is right before us, right?
Yeah.
And there, this place was built because of the north side, they call it the Wahima side, and the south side is called Manawa-Lugu. This is the same two places that was divided by the river. The north side is Wahima, and this side is Manawa-Lugu. So we are on the Manawa-Lugu side.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
I never realized
Yeah,
that.
so this was the area
I prefer
where,
here that than north and south.
yeah, because this was the area where the Manawa ship used to park behind on the side of his
Yeah.
right over here. So that's where the Manawa. This was a time around the war when they have this British and the English was war, Spanish and the British was warring here. So the ship used to mark
Before
on
we
the side
time
there,
again.
Before we time again.
Yeah.
I like to go before our time because our time right now is to me, I'm living our time right now, but before our time used to be a little bit more to me blessed.
Before you go pen, you know, I did it publicly on the show, but I do it in person. That as a family and as a organization, we are very thankful that you took the time out to create a ceremony to pay respect to the chairman, Evanek side.
Yep.
Last would have been the year before last. Would actually have been
Last year.
the beginning of last year.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so enough respect to that, my brother.
Yes, man. Because I think this guy is doing so much things for us right here in Belize. He's doing so much, and the people. I don't know if the people see the guy. I think the people look at the guy as like a threat, no. But he's not threatening us, nobody. He's just doing the things what he's supposed to do for the people, and the people enjoy what he's doing, no. But then there are some people who don't like to see these things.
So life
there.
go.
Life is like that for
Yes,
too.
yes.
And for myself, it was very important for me to give that tribute to Vanessa because he's the only black man still the fight for black people here in Belize. You see? And this is the thing that I think that show did something, but then I think he just can't call again. But I think he's still fighting for us, bro.
Ben, it was a pleasure having you here this
Well,
morning,
it's
my
my
brother.
pleasure to be here with you, Mose.
Yes, man. Right now, we are got a 2 cents scam. We're going to take our first break of the morning. When we come back, we're going to have other guests taking over this. We might leave in there because silly weather the come. I don't know if. Yes, I don't know if we're going to get a bit of that, you know, but I watch it though. Because it might change the whole plan. The studio fancy, but waterproof. Yeah. Let's see how it work out. Let's see how it work out. All right. The legend, Father Punta Rock, Pen Caetano in the house. Belize, we go to 2 cents scam, then we take the first break of the morning. Then we come back with more WB Wake Up Belize morning vibes. Respect, sir. So I can count down? Can I count down?
Huh?
Can I?
Anytime you're ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Reef Week celebration from Guigadang on the seaside. Mo's Hide here with you until 9 this morning. And at this moment, we've got in our lavish studios, it's not waterproof, but it's lavish, luxurious. It gets no better than this. Seaside, La Bubeya. Joining me, no strangers to Reef Week. They've both been on Reef Week before. We've got from the Environmental Defense Fund, Nick Wikenya. And joining Nick all the way from beautiful Punta Gorda. We are very, very pleased to have her on our set last Reef Week. Miss Anna Ramirez, and she's a fisher lady. I don't play wrong, you're not ready for she. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Moz and Miss Anna. Thank you very much, Moz, for the opportunity. Thanks to CREM for highlighting the importance of our reef. It is indeed a great pleasure to join you again. Last year we did something similar. Always great to have an opportunity to speak about the importance of our reef, speak about the importance of our marine resources, and what a great pleasure to be able to be joined by Miss Anna, a very well-known, respected fisherwoman from Punta Gorda. Miss Anna, good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Tell us about the Environmental Defense Fund. What exactly is it?
Environmental Defense Fund is an international organization based in the U.S. but working in several countries, among them Mexico, Cuba, China, the Philippines, Indonesia, and the USA, of course. And since 2008, Environmental Defense Fund has been working in close partnership with the Belize Fisheries Department, the fisher women, the fishermen in Belize, local NGOs such as Tide, Sea, SACD, Belize Audubon Society, WCS, among others, basically to highlight the importance of putting in place fisheries management. And so what Environmental Defense Fund has been doing along with the Fisheries Department and other partners is trying to see how we can better manage our fisheries resources, and we're doing that through a number of ways. Key among those is engaging fishermen and fisherwomen so that they can be a part of that management. We know, most that the best contribution is from the users, the primary users of these resources. And people like Miss Anna and Mr. Mark Thompson, who's going to be joining us shortly, have played a key role in making sure that whatever has been put in place in terms of the management system, in this case, Managed Access for Belize, has been working and works in the interest of our fishers. It's a work in progress. There's been a number of things that have been put in place, including the zonation, the catch logs, the color coding for vessels, among other things. And so I want to be able to speak about some of those things, but I also want to allow people like Miss Anna and Mr. Thompson to talk about what they've been doing as fishers, what they see as the future in this industry, and basically share their perspective.
Miss Anna, you still go out there regularly?
Me just come there before yesterday.
You just come from out there?
Yes.
So you don't retire?
No.
You don't retire? No. Yesterday I spoke with our colleagues from SEA, Southern Environmental Association, and I brought up the issue of Managed Access, which began its implementation last year.
It's national implementation.
It's national implementation. And some of the feedback that I've been getting is that, okay, there's some bumps in the road. That, and it all comes to what everybody tell me about is enforcement. Like, on paper, Managed Access makes sense to try to create zoning for fishers. But if you don't have a comprehensive enforcement, people where they make sure that your people are doing what they're supposed to do, then you create tension, people think the system is not working. And to further complicate the matter, you have illegal fishers coming across the border. What is your experience as a fisher when it comes to the zoning, and you have any feelings on the matter of how good the enforcement has been?
Well, first of all, I would say good morning again, and I very thanks to invite me to this program. And my thinking, like what you said, the managed access, that is very good because I see how is the, the areas producing back.
Yeah.
Because 1 year before, where part I go and catch fish now, we never catch nothing.
No fish never did it.
No, we catch nice fish. So I always say we need to continue working with the enforcement, with the managed access, with the what you call it, with the boat, with the lip painting, because that bringing the fisherman forget about responsibility. We don't want to say, well, everybody say, oh, you miss Anna, when you go talk, you say, make we quit the, no. I say regulation. Regulate, right? Like the traps, come out some of them, right? Because what we made it, like what you said, what we made it get it, that with the trap, and it's not Belizean, it's from over the border,
yeah.
right? So
how much it is right now? I know usually around this time, around Easter, it becomes really
scarce.
Yeah.
No, right now we have lot of fish in the market. Very well too.
Yeah.
Because yesterday.
But I know a lot of the illegal fishing takes place, especially in Easter.
No. Well, this is the time right now.
Yeah.
But what me
you
and
see,
you could do?
you see but are you seeing the kind of enforcement where you don't want?
No, I want more. More enforce. You know why? Because if you enforce the law more, then we have less people coming from other ways. No, only we. It will be only we. But you know,
are the different fishermen zones, whether north, whether say in the south, do you have people respecting, like, okay, you only use only these fishers for use global?
We really try to do that now,
yeah.
especially with the shades. Everybody have their own section, right? But as I come again, others come from outside and just come and rip. So but you know, with the work on it, little by little, we try for get it out.
Basically, in your life, fishing has taken care of you. That's how you survive.
Yes.
That's how your kids.
I fishing from I 7 years old to now. I raise my children with fishing. I educate my children with fishing, and I still fishing. But I help my daughter with my grandbabies doing fishing. I love that. That is my, I don't know, I just love it.
You're not retiring?
No, not yet. Not yet.
So it really highlights, Mose, what the fishing sector means to people like Miss Anna and others living along the coastal communities in Belize. It's their livelihood.
Yes.
It's a source of food, a source of protein, it's a source of employment. And when we think about it in the national context, those are all national priorities. And so managed access is really aimed at ensuring that people like Miss Anna, Mr. Thompson, and others are able to continue that livelihood, are able to improve that standard of living. And so that does not happen automatically. There are a number of things. First of all, we need to put in place, which has been happening, a structure to the fishing activity. And so managed access has really come in to try to put some sort of a structure to that. But coupled with that, the science is important, and so the role that Miss Anna and other fishers play in terms of submitting that catch data is very important, because unless you have an idea of what is happening in terms of the catches and the underwater visual surveys, it is difficult to have an estimate of what those stocks are doing over time. And thirdly, approaching it from the market's perspective, it is important that we get a better understanding of what the opportunities exist for people like Miss Anna and others to be able to get more value for that product that is being extracted, as opposed to going out there and fishing for volume. Okay. A lot.
Let me put this to you then, Nick.
Sure, Mose.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. If the fishers of Belize, north to south, were singularly a big corporation, they would have received various incentives already, such as tax incentives on fuel. They would have gotten, because they would be acting as a corporation. The number of people who are benefiting, the size of the corporation, you could say, if you look at it as a conglomerate, rather than individual fishers. If you think about a couple thousand fishers, you may put it at about 1,500 active fishers across the country, and think about what that represents in economic activity. You are talking here about a giant. But because they are not a part of a conglomerate, they have not been able to bring their pressure to bear on the legislative control of the country to say, listen, we want certain benefits to come our way. When an investor comes and is being attracted to come into your country on the premise that they're going to create jobs, they are able to lobby and say, okay, we need this kind of tax break, we need that, we need Tara. That is the way it's supposed to work when you have an entity that is providing such an opportunity for your people.
Thank you very much for raising that, Mose, and we're going to have an opportunity to hear from Mr. Thompson what he is doing with Fisherman Association here.
Yeah.
That is the start. One of the difficulties that we've been having in Belize, particularly with our fishers, is their ability to organize. Now, having said that, our cooperatives, our fishermen cooperatives play an integral role in all of this. And that is just one example of what can be done. The cooperatives have a social role to play. They have membership that have children going to school, that have children taking care of health bills and all of these things. Now, historically, my understanding is that the fisheries sector has not been given the attention that it ought to be given. And I will say this, Mose, I know that our current minister has a lot of interest in the fishing sector, and I congratulate him, and I do everything that we can collectively as partners to work with Minister, because I think he's seeing the importance of the fishing sector. The issues of, for example, the fisheries bill that is going hopefully to the House of Representatives soon, the expansion of replenishment zones are initiatives where I think that collectively the fishing community and the NGO community have seen and recognized that current Minister Figueroa is taking a very active role in trying to address these things within the fishing sector. Historically, our fishing sector has not had that attention. And so I make a plea, I make a call to the NGO community, to the fishermen, to continue to lobby, to continue to work with government, to highlight the importance of this fishing sector, because I have not, over the past several years, 20 years that I've been working in the sector, I think that that has been a gap, and I want to see that changing. Now, your point of being able to get the attention that fishermen are to get in terms of the subsidies and all of these things, we know where subsidies have worked and where subsidies have not worked in other countries. I am not here to say that that is the solution. What I am here to say is that collectively, along with our NGO partners and the fishermen and fisherwomen, we are putting in place structures that will allow us to continue to have a sustainable fishing sector in the long term. So having said that, I would like, personally, I would like to see government pay more attention to the fishing sector, because we have national goals that as a country we are to pursue, obligations that we are to pursue. I said key among those, the issue of food security, the issue of employment, the issue of poverty alleviation. Those are things that the fishing sector is able to help address at the national level. And so I want to continue to work with our national leaders, but also work with people like Mr. Thompson, with Ms. Anna, at the local community level, to be organized, because as a group, organized fishermen have more voice, and they're able to have more stake and more say in the national realm of things.
Mr. Nassim, you want to jump in, so go right ahead and jump in.
No, well, I really thank Mr. Rekena what he said, because indeed, fishermen have a very, how would I say, low role in the country, in the sense that you don't want fisher first, right? All right, similar, I come from the sea. You don't see me dress, you don't see me, fill up.
You're salty.
All right.
You're salty.
You know, and if I meet somebody, you know, man, not touch me. You stink of fish. Oh, you see, no, you should have said, hi, man, you come from the sea, you're bringing fish.
He's a producer.
Exactly. And you the producer, and you the feed the higher man in Belize, you know. So I think we need a little bit more
respect
and attention for the fishermen.
Because
what we do, that we feed the country with all kind of seafood.
Healthy seafood.
Exactly. Thing we know they have no kind of contamination like, you know, you give them this, you give them this are no cow, this are no chicken, this are
It keep a lot of people out of trouble.
you see?
It make people go to school.
But exactly. So I mean to say we need make fishermen make the here fishermen a little bit more. You know, because when they pressure you out there, if you don't have this, if you don't have license, government pressure you, you have to pay. So you need to make them have that attention with the fisher folks. Not only me, in the whole of the country.
And so the approach most is really to make that, create that platform for people like Miss Anna, Mr. Thompson, and others to really come to the table and contribute to management. Gone are the days where our fishermen are perceived as being the problem to the issues of management that we have. Our fishermen are integral part of the solution. We cannot talk about fisheries management if we're not talking to our fishermen or official ladies. And in that role, in that capacity, one of the things that we promote, that we pursue, is trying to build that capacity for our local fishers to become organized, but organized around a goal, not organized just for organized sake, organized in a way that they're able to attract the funding that is necessary for them to start developing and executing their own community projects. And so we will hear from Mr. Thompson about what he has been doing with Wabafu here in Dangriga, and we're also pursuing opportunities in PG with people like Miss Anna's daughters, her sons, and other fishermen to try to see how they can have a stake at the table.
Now, we've heard for years that we need to take advantage of fishing outside the reef, but it's a bit more challenging to look at deep sea fishing as an option because it requires more investment. Again, not only would that alleviate a bit of the pressure inside the reef, it's a greater cost. It's a greater cost to get into that kind of fishing, but there can also be greater rewards. But there needs to be a road cleared for the fishers to be able to take advantage
exactly.
of that.
And I know that the government of Belize through the Fisheries Department has been talking about exploiting these resources in the deep. And as you rightly said, Mose, it requires an investment. And the truth is that a lot of our fishermen, a lot of our fisherwomen do not have that capital for that initial investment. And so I know firsthand that groups like GEF Small Grants Fund from UNDP work very closely with several groups along the coast of Belize, working hand in hand to try to develop that capacity, to try to have that initial capital to invest in these projects. And so as we work with fishermen and fisherwomen in talking to them about the implementation of managed access, we also play a key role. And when I say we, collectively, people like Julio from WCS, the Fisheries Department, Sea, Tide, SACD, Belize Urban Society, among other groups, work to build that capacity so that they are able, fishermen are able to access these funds and not have to go through an intermediary, that they are able to manage their own funds, because that is part of the capacity building that needs to happen. Our fishermen are very smart people. They are very knowledgeable people. They're able to put these things together if they're given an opportunity. And so I play an integral role in trying to bridge that gap.
Now, the matter of safety on the waters has come up over the years, because we've seen multiple times now where fishermen have been robbed. In fact, we've seen where fishermen have been killed.
Yes.
You know, it's like for anybody that understands the amount of work a fisherman has to put in to load up his box, to be robbed of that is a lot to be taken away from a fisherman.
Right.
And we have seen that happen multiple times. The same security issues that exist on the land have now gone to the marine. Have you experienced any of that, or know of anybody that has experienced that type of?
Not down south.
Yes.
No, we don't have that. Not yet. Then.
Not yet.
Not yet. But I hear it up the side, right?
Okay.
But I can't say it never will happen, right? Because sometimes I out by Denkies, Sneakies, so sometimes me one, right? And I say, suppose somebody, you know. But
And you camp out there by yourself?
Huh?
You camp out there by yourself?
Yeah, no, well, I camp with my gentleman, but then sometimes he go dive conch or lobster, and I just go hand do the hand fishing, right? The online fishing.
Yeah.
And sometimes only me one that boat. But I'm afraid to sea because I drive my everything. But I'm afraid to sea. But I afraid if somebody would have, maybe want to take my product or have not much just a fish. But people not think twice for go and rob you.
But just a fish. Now, a lot of thing for you, Miss Anna, because
Oh,
that's
yes.
your livelihood.
Exactly.
And it is
And
important
somebody
to
come
highlight
and
that, Mose, because
Because
safety at sea.
I'm going to cut you across. I just want to quickly tell people, I don't want to believe that we're not going to fisherman out there who could give me a call. It's nice for the talk with my friends back at the desk, but we like when people call in and talk with you too. The more the merrier. The conversation is better and richer. 6, we don't got a lot of phone lines like we normally would have, but we got one line and they're right up on the desk, so I can't miss you. 610-4770. You have to listen to it in the phone. We know that maybe, I don't know where the cost thing, it costs more for cars and call and cell phone, no? But put on the investment and make sure that people hear you this morning. That's why we do Week Week, Week Week, they're all about engaging in this conversation to make there's a greater consciousness, greater awareness, and so that we could make movement on the ground. Okay, Nicky,
Thank
tell
you
me
very
about
much.
safety.
Yes. Safety at sea. You highlighted something very important. Couple months ago, last year, we know about a number of cases where fishermen were having issues pirating at sea. And so safety at sea is a very important thing that affects our fishermen. But also think about it from a national security perspective, particularly in the southern part of our country, where it has been known for years that we get our neighbors coming from across to exploit the resources here in Belize. Managed Access has really done a number of things. One, we have ensured that in the case of Port Honduras Marine Reserve, there's been a number of those people, particularly those that do not reside in Belize, do not have access to that resource. And that Miss Anna can speak about, because in the first year when it was piloted at PHMR, there were about 40 of those that did not qualify to be there. Why? Because at the end of the day, our local Belizean fishermen, and I take pride in saying this, most of our local fishers comply by the fisheries regulations. Now, when we have our neighbors coming from across, they have no regard for that. And like when Miss Anna says sometimes, they come and they rake and scrape. And so it is not in our interest, as a country to continue to allow these things. And so managed access and the structure that is put in place, including the zonation, the color coding for the boats, the catch logs that have been put in place, the capacity building that has been happening, are all things that are meant to help to protect the livelihoods of our Belizean fishermen and fisherwomen.
So it's not perfect, but it is a part of the solution.
It is. And you spoke earlier about enforcement. Most across this country, from Sarteneja to Barranco, fishermen say we want more enforcement. Yes. The reality is that we know that our fisheries department's budget continue to be reduced year after year. And so the resources that they have accessible to do these patrols is limited. That is a reality. And so where do the NGO community, the co-managers come into play, is trying to see how they can also contribute to that enforcement. But fishermen play an important role. They play an important role in recognizing, identifying these illegal activities and reporting them. Now, I know your question will be, well, what kind of protection do fishermen have in terms of reporting these and making sure that those things do not come back and affect the fishers? Well,
good morning, WB. 1 second, Nick.
Hi, good morning, Mose. This is Baltimore from Tassa.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Vale.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the issue of working with the fishers for enforcement. We have found that at Turnef, the Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve, that the best enforcement results we have when we get the intelligence from the local fishers themselves. They're the ones who give us the information. And then based on that information, we're able to make busts, and we're able to bring people at bay, because they know best how the people who are doing illegal activities are moving.
All right. So, from what you're experiencing out at Turnef, what are your thoughts about the effects, how effective the managed access has been since its national implementation?
For us, it has been very effective, because first of all, we now have a list of the fishers who are allowed in and out of the reserve, we are also able to track who we are seeing on a regular basis, so who basically have customer rates. So, for example, in Turnip, we have 956 fishers registered in Turnip. Of those, we are only seeing about between 150 to 200 on a customary basis. So we're able to tell who is using and who is not using based on the submission of their catch logs and based on our patrol reports. And so for us, it has worked well. I would say 95% of our boats are now marked for the area. And so from afar, we're able to tell whether a boat belongs in the area or not. We get calls from the fishers themselves and they don't see that orange stripe for Area 6, which is Turnef, and to say that, these guys don't belong in here, could you please come and get them out?
All right. Your thoughts about how the fishers have been able to make some kind of progress when it comes to getting respect and movement when it comes to the issues that they have, whether it be security, whether it has to do with getting certain the fish bill pass, fish bill pass.
I think a lot of it is work in progress. Mose, we are working closely with the fishers, and we try to share the science data to let them understand that it's always moving. It's always something that we will have to adjust. We'll have to make new regulations. As Ms. Anna was saying, it's all about regulations, but the enforcement has to be on both sides, both the management, fisheries, Coast Guard, but also the fishers themselves have to take ownership of the area and manage it. So Managed Access has helped us to be able to put in place additional matters such as the color coding of the boats, ensuring that there are charges if you don't have color coding, if you're fishing out of your area, ensuring that that we are getting catch logs so we can understand more of what is being caught, what size are being caught, where they're being caught. Managed Access has helped with all of that, but all of that is based on the fishers feeling that ownership and taking ownership of the whole process and submitting the catch logs. A big question from the fishers is always, are you going to submit this to the taxman? I can tell you that the fishers are working hard, and I don't even think we are reached the tax basis yet. So I don't think that should even be a conversation at this point. It's just understanding the industry. How can we help them to be more efficient? And it's a big conversation in progress. I think we are still not fully at the stage where we are fully engaging with the fishers on the science of it. And I think the more we're able to translate the science and talk to the fishers, because when we talk to the fishers about science, generally in their own language, they're seeing the same things that we have numbers for. And so now we have to move those to adaptive management regulations within the management areas. But no use putting a regulation in place that the fishers will not abide by. So it has to be something that you work together. And Managed Access has given us the basis, because now we know who to engage. Because if you're in the Turnefeto Marine Reserve, we know these are the 956 fishers that come from Chunush, Kapapang, Belize City, Kikaka, San Pedro. Those are where the people are coming from. Those are where your stakeholders are coming from. And so you have to engage with those associations. You have to engage with those individuals. Because a big part of the conversation is also not only about making what they do more efficient, but how do we find supplementary livelihoods, talking about seaweed, talking about distant water fishing or deep sea fishing, how can we expand those things?
Well, thank you very much for the call, my brother.
Thank you very much, too.
Thank you very much, Valdemar, and thanks to Tasa and their team out at Turnef for the wonderful job they're doing out at Turnef and working with fishermen.
All right, and we need to do a swap right now with you, Nick, because we have to get Wabafu in the house, right? Did I say that right? Good.
Yes, Wabafu.
Wabafu will be coming into the house, and that is,
Mr. Mark Thompson.
Mark Thompson, and that's the Wabafu Fishermen Association. He joins us on the set. Thank you very much, Nick. As always, very informative.
Thanks, Mose.
All right. All the best. That's Nick Kenya from the Environmental Defense Fund. And now Mr. Mark Thompson from the Wabafu Fishermen Association. And he says Wabafu means power to the people. Power! All right. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and sit with Miss Anna and with yourself. I haven't seen you in a long time, many years.
Yeah,
And
I've been missing.
yes.
Now, you've heard the conversation. What are your tell us about Wabafu first of all. How long it's been formed and who the members are?
Okay, Wabafu, we came together in 2015, registered 2016, and also we had a grant from the GIF Small Grants Program to help us with the capacity building of our fishers. We have about 40 to 50 members.
And they are permanently, mostly from,
Mostly
predominantly
fishermen from in town,
from Griga.
from Griga.
Okay.
So mostly from Griga, and we have 40 to 50 members. And a little bit about the grant, which is on the positive side of it. It was issued, like I said, from the GIF Small Grants Program for 80,000 Belize dollars. And this grant was to help the fishers and the community. You have to remember that because we include the community as well in providing capacity building, first of all, in office training, conflict resolutions, because we have a lot of, you know it. So we could straighten
Well,
that
intention
out.
every now and then.
Yes, sir. And we had also our beach cleanup. It's Reef Week to teach the kids the cleanliness, to keep the beach clean, take care of their resources. We also had open water diving program. With that, we teamed up with fisheries. Our grant was supposed to provide training for 10 divers. However, with fisheries, we ended up training 20 divers. Fishers. So what happened is that our program was only to take just an opening to this discipline, where they would learn just the basic scuba diving concept and practical. However, with the fisheries department, teaming with them, we have about 10 divers, fishers, who have moved up to dive master.
Whoa.
And some are being employed already.
As dive masters.
As dive masters. So, which is a huge plus for this community. I mean, you mentioned about the conch and lobster, or Mr. Ricania did, but we're trying to reduce the stress on those two main commodities that we're harvesting so that it could remain sustainable. So that when you and I get old and we could go dive, we could find a couple of this thing, you know. For that, with the grant, we're also providing these people with dive mask, fin, snorkel, and calipers, scales, so that they could do what they do out there best, because they'll learn about the surveying of the conch and lobster, how to identify the corals. We have bleaching from climate change. So they are a valuable asset to the government, because when scientists come in, we don't need to source that valuable commodity to assist them with that training. They already know. So they could use that to further themselves and to uplift and also be an added economic value to their income, so they don't have to go and stress the conch and lobster.
Great.
We also, one of the components of the grant was to
You were
assist.
able to do a lot with 80,000.
Yeah, was to assist with managed access.
Yeah.
We recognize that it is important to have that in place. It will help if every stakeholder does his or her part. With saying that, we have, or fisheries have identified that to better manage the fishing community, we zoned off the country. And so each fisher is entitled to 2 areas to fish. So with that, they're color coded. So if this area is area 3 and it's yellow in color, as the Garifuna color is, and if it showed up in Miss Anna's area with a yellow sticker,
You know right away.
We have issues.
There's a problem.
We have
There's
issues.
a problem, my
Yeah.
son. So what would be the area? What just to give us a sense of the area that would comprise the zone for Wabafo right now?
Okay, this zone runs up to southern Lanki, which is 19 miles to the northeast of here,
Yes.
and it goes all the way almost in front of Placencia. So it includes Gladden Spits, includes the Saltwater Key Marine Reserve, it includes Glover's Reef Marine Reserve. So it's a huge area, and it's a very lucrative area as well. I mean, there's
Fish,
lots
did
of
it?
product here.
Somebody told me that we got fish in a pile with a kayo.
Corozal.
Cause
Yes, man. Well, you got a states too.
you go that stage.
So,
Well, I can't access it there, so I don't know about that
yeah,
part. Eh?
but right here, yes,
Yeah.
it goes across the country here.
Yeah.
What I have found out, to finish with the grant, because there's more to it, we also had hurricane preparedness training. So that include community members and fishers. What that did was to expose them to how NEMO works. What's their role as an individual, as a community member, and how they could also assist NEMO in their program. They have all the numbers, and as a part of a participant in the program, they're given hurricane training, they have a certificate, and also they will receive their first aid kit. So they could go out, they could help themselves, help their families, help their neighbors, and assist in the community. We went on to do training in tour guiding with that and in collaboration again with fisheries. So we have people who have completed that training, and some of them are just doing their final parts of it so that they could be certified. So we're trying to give them the tools that they could help themselves, so they don't have to solely depend on the fish and the lobster.
There's so many different ways that the marine resources of the country can be utilized, especially for coastal communities. Traditionally, it's fishing, and then over the years it has become, tourism. But dive masters, I was talking to Major Swazu again yesterday evening, was telling me about trying to get people to become qualified as navigators, because they are able to then work on the ships,
Yeah.
with that kind of training. So essentially, a part of the challenge for both of you is, and I know that your children are also in fishing, but then there are opportunities in fly fishing, which
Yeah, but I have my children, them, my son, them, that are tour
guides,
and do fly fishing.
They
But
do fly
some of
fish.
them, they know, how would I say, they have the certificate and everything, but they know put it in practice.
okay.
Only two of them. And my daughter, I have my daughter with she's a tour guide, but
So
is a teacher right now.
So is that
Yes, and this is the one we're coming today to the science show,
okay?
9/11 something today.
Okay, to the meeting that they have.
So I would say some of them don't have the education, right?
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes maybe you go and get this, but you like the sea, you just love to the sea again. I have a son who said, "Ma, I don't want to go pool. I feel tired. I want to go dive better." I said, "You go dive." You see?
It's just
So-
in and in.
But he have the education for go and do it. With same Tide me give boy the education, and I didn't forget the next. I think that I forget the next organization will help us for the education
No,
of being a
is
tour
the-
guide.
Are you a part? Are you a part of an association,
Yes,
just like Wabafo? That would be in PG.
In PG, right?
And are similar things are being taken on by your association.
Yes, we're still in a meeting. We still have where you call it right now. We try like what you say, get an office. We done it before, right? But we manager, me kind of little low, and you never, just put interest like no. We
Leadership
put interest.
matters.
Yeah. So, but where they got it? Everybody.
also the
Then we have a cooperative too.
okay, wonderful. We also we have met all the components of the grant, and in addition, because we teamed up with Fishers, we had some savings, and we did a small engine repair course
Whoa.
for Fishers. So that could help them out there if they have a problem, and if it's their passion, then they could take that on further. But the idea is to give them the education, the knowledge, the skill set, so they could help themselves. It also, my hope is that all the divers now come together, stay together, and form an organization that whenever the scientist comes in, that's the group that they go to. Recognize, you know, and
We're
with the
going to
tour
start
guides
producing
also.
our own scientists as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
And they because time and again, the government is requesting testing of what's out there. The biologists, they need the divers. So we have the resources in country. Many times we have these grants, and the money does not reach the fisher because we have consultation and more consultation, and we need to get this and that. By the time it gets to the fish, there's nothing left to the fisher.
Pure bone.
Yeah, and the fisher needs assistance.
Yeah.
The fisher needs to come up. You know, we're talking about enforcement, and we're talking, all of that is important. But what happened to the fisher there? You know, because, yeah, we lock up the fisher, and yeah, you violate, you charge them. But what happened to the fisher who comes in from outside the country? Who gets away? You know, and here's this guy trying to stay within the rules,
Playing by the rules, doing
Playing
what
by
is.
the rules.
Yeah.
and we get him. You know, we're not saying he's not supposed to play by the rules.
I imagine that you both share the view that people who come from across, the penalties need to be more significant so as to discourage them from doing so. We were told yesterday that, you know, there's no discouragement based on what their fines will be if they are caught when they think about what it is they gain by fishing. If they go to Gladden Splits in the night, as we are told, and take a big catch, if they get away with it, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. They're not going to be discouraged because there's a pat on the wrist. That's not going to stop them at all.
Well,
That's a part of the problem.
yeah, it is.
But we don't have it here too?
Here,
Yes.
it starts here. It starts here. But the thing is, I strongly believe that if we have, it's not a 9 to 5 job. What happened to after 5?
But that's when it's taking place.
Thank you. So then, if everybody knows that it's happened after 5, then we don't come 9 to 5. We come 5 to 6. Cut out the daytime. If we're limited on resources,
Fisher folk are out there in the day. They can do a
most
little
of
bit
our
of.
fisher who does significant fishing
Yeah.
does it during the day. We don't have the equipment and the technology and to do that at night. These guys come in with the high-tech GPSs, the high-tech fish finders, the big boats. Fuel is not a problem. They have the 4-stroke engines that could huddle right above the catch spot. You know, a lot of us still use what Grandpa taught us, line up with that mountain and with that key and whatever.
Triangulating.
And triangulation, and we find it. And sometimes this is the spot. And the fish is right over there, and they're not a bite today. But you know why? With the technology now, it's scope all of that. So now you can go direct to it. You know, because the current at the bottom is flowing different, as Miss Anna could tell you. You know, so the fish is going to go to the place of least resistance. But they're not going to come to you. You need to go to them. And that's one of the issues. So we need to educate our folks more, provide equipment more. And with this managed access, it's from reef to shore. The expansion of the park that we're talking about is going to cause more restrictions to the fishers. Fishers now need to go further. That's going to cost more gas. So are you prepared now to pay me $15 a pound for the snapper? Hello?
Well, you know they're going to complain in a couple of weeks when Good Friday fish buying begins and the price just goes through the roof. They say, man, we get chance, man.
Aye, man. But when the fish have to stay out the late, you know, look at the knot, look at the weather right now. The fish are the outside. You nice, cuddling, warm, got your coffee, got your, yes.
I got my ginger tea with
ginger
honey.
tea, yes. You see?
But I want your fish.
Ah, boy, you don't want to pay me. So, from the fisher's point, we need a lot of help. And one of the things I try to tell the fishers, the executives, that we need to work together. You know, all this you brought up about changing legislation. I can't do it on my own. But we need to put differences aside. We need to see the progress that can be made when we work together. We belong to the BFF, the Belize Federation of Fishers, who is the advocate for legislating representatives. But it needs the input from all of us and from all the association coming together so that collectively, when we write this document and all of us sign on to it, then the body that makes the decision has to say, hey, look at this, we need to look at this, we need to hear from this. Because, like it or not, the rule is going to be made, and then we need to live with it. So if you don't participate, I always say there's three types of people. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say, why will happen? You know?
Good one. Good one.
And so we have to be an active part. When the change comes, be a part of the change. I helped make that. I could live with it. Because we here, we could decide on how we're going to do this, you know, and mess it up. Why? It's another, but we together could correct it too. That's what I've learned over time. So,
I mentioned yesterday that one of the things is that the nature of fisher folk is that, and the nature of the way of life is, you know, it's not a collective thing. You're out there on the water and that you and maybe another person or two other persons, it's not a group thing per se. And so fisher folk might, just by their nature, tend to be the most reluctant for being a part of a organization and meetings, and they want out on the sea and one day in my camp and they're on my boat and they're on my spot. And, but if they don't organize themselves, and it's very pleasing to hear that Wabafu apparently has been pretty successful at it, because you've achieved so much with your grant, which speaks to leadership. Because you can have you can be organized and going nowhere, because leadership is maybe not focused or maybe not authentic. That's a whole different ballgame. But that should never dissuade you or be an argument as to why we shouldn't organize. It should be the argument as to why we be very careful in who we choose to lead, because that's what really matters. But not that being organized is the enemy. That's not the problem. So it's great to hear about certain achievements going on with Wabafu, because I remember I met with some fishers. I think maybe Nick was there when I was taken out to Saltwater Key. I met with some of the fishers from Greek, and they were saying about when they were going to get together this organization, and they were saying that, yeah, and they was talking about some of the difficulties. Fast forward now, and I'm hearing, okay, you could call it getting your act together, where you have made these meaningful forward movements, and that's great to hear. Not good to hear that maybe fish will go up to $15 a pound. Our listeners and viewers out there must have sucked their teeth. But in fair, fishing is hard work. Fish not jumping at the boat, no, Miss Anna?
No, you have to catch that. No,
when you look on the economic side of things, you know, it is good that we have tourism and it's growing, it's a growing industry. But with these restrictions that are coming and the fisheries bill that is coming, you have to organize. Miss Anna could probably attest to this. When you catch your fish, do you have a landing place for it? Do you wait until your fish is sold, then you go out again?
But sometimes no, right?
Yeah.
Because, all right, we working like this, right? Like how I have my, then dive. All right, when they dive, like laughter, corns or so, we save that, that when I could go out there, I just want to drive that and go. But sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes you have, like how you say, you have to bring your fish, land your fish, sell your fish, then you go out there again.
Before you go there again.
And if you don't have only $400, you can go out there.
All right. That's typical to most fishers. You come, you land the fish. So what happened? Where you make your money? At sea.
Yes.
So what are you doing here on land? They haven't learned yet. That's why the organization has to come. Not only that, with all this funding, we need to establish market. Somebody has to create the market so that when Miss Anna comes, Mose, I'm in, here. Miss Anna could go. Mose does the marketing, and so Miss Anna doesn't have to sit and wait, because fish doesn't wait for you to come. They're migratory.
Krem, good morning, WB.
Hi, morning, Mose.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Nigel from the Belize Federation of Fishers.
Greetings, my brother.
Greetings, greetings. I want to give support to both Mark and Miss Anna. Both of them are members of one of the association that belongs or under the umbrella of the BFF.
Yes.
But there are several issues that I wanted to kind of collaborate on and kind of shed some light on. First of all, I want to talk about the deep slope. The BFF has implemented a deep slope project recently, just last year. But we have guys who have been fishing deep slope for many years. So what we kind of did was to basically provide some additional training and to provide some basic equipment that these guys will be needed in order to venture into deep slope. Since then, we have submitted a project under the MCAP project through the Fisheries Department, and we have been awarded the deep slope project. So the BFF will be implemented a deep slope project across the country.
That's good to hear.
Say it again?
That's good to hear.
Yeah, and this project will include training, and it will also include some equipment. But the objective and the outcome that will project from this project is a centralized location where there will be access to fish. So what we have done at the BFF is to get an approval from the Executive Managing Committee for the members to sell their products to the BFF to continue the sustainability of the organization, and this way, and from that standpoint, the BFF will be selling the product. Now, individual people can have a centralized location where the products will be available. There's also another spin-off to that. We have in front of us from the Japanese, through the Japanese grassroots funds, a project to build a processing plant right there in Dangriga as well, because we're unable to get land here in Belize City. And that processing plant is supposed to serve as a fish market / processing plant. All our products will be sold to that processing plant. It will be delivered to that processing plant, where our members will be able to distribute, and from there we'll be able to sell countrywide, because there's a huge demand for fin fish right now in the country. As you may know, fin fish is being imported. If you're going to Brody's, Sayview, you'll see fish that these people are importing because of the same reason. We're not able to get out there due to the lack of the capital and the investment in order to help our members go there and fish. So that's another good plus that we're hoping that the Fisheries Department will sign off on that project, and we're able to have the Japanese come in and help us need to provide is the land and access to water and light. And Mark can shed some light on that as well. I also want to highlight that in front of us as well is another deep slope project that is going to be funded by JICA. And they also want to invest in the BFF to venture more into deep slope. They are going to help us they're going to provide us with a vessel, and they're going to provide that vessel with all the equipment that is needed to conduct the training nationally. So there are several projects that are under the umbrella right now of the BFF to strengthen the members association, and to also build capacities in our members. As I was listening, Mark was explaining to you some of the good things that has done through the GF program in Dangriga. Well, I can tell you categorically that we have 5 more projects to implement in the South. One that will impact Anna's community, which her daughter is the chair of that association. We also have one for the Independent Fishermen Association, Hopkins Fishermen Association, and we're now focusing on strengthening the Belize City Fishermen Association that is going to focus within that Turnef area. I also want to jump on the issue that Valdemar had brought up, that there are over 900 and odd fishers licensed for Turnef. And that's a huge concern for us, because as it is right now, the stock out of Turnef has depleted significantly. And you can ask any fishers right now that fish in Turnef, and they will tell you that there's only juvenile counts there, there's limited lobster, the stock has depleted significantly because people are now harvesting the undersize, the female, they're taking the big males. So the reproduction process now has gone down significantly. So we're working closely with TASA to look at how we can strengthen enforcement activities out at Turnef, how we can reduce that number of 936 licensed commercial fishers in Turnef, reduce that significantly, because before that marine reserve, before Turnef became a marine reserve, there was only 200 plus commercial fishers licensed. Since the reserve, since the area became a reserve, and since the implementation of the managed access program, there's over 900 plus commercial fishers. So that's a significant red flag for us, and that's something that we're currently working with both the fisheries department as well as TASA, the co-managing department, to see how we can address that. Another good thing that is happening right now for the BFF is that we have formed an alliance with the Tour Guide Association out at Turnef. The name of that alliance is Fishermen Ecotourism Alliance, and this alliance basically is going to look at habitat protection. We want to look at the seagrass, we want to look at the reef, the health of the reef, mangrove, we want to look at development that is going to be taking place within Turnef, because we want to ensure that our fishers and the stakeholders on a whole that use this Turnef benefit from the habitat within that area. So that's another alliance that we're looking to form with other entities in the south to ensure that those areas have habitat protection as well. As you know, the area that Mark is in front of is one of the biggest areas, and that's one of the areas that is most fish. So we want to ensure that those areas are protected. As both Mark and Anna had mentioned previously, that the BFF role is to advocate for its members, to ensure that we build capacity, to ensure that we continue to educate them. And how we're doing this? We're doing this by securing grants through GEF. We're doing it by ensuring that these grants can build capacity within the fishers themselves, have them sit at the table, have them be a part of the decision making, and have them ensure that they are a part of the policies that are going to be developed, that the policies that benefits them, and that they can ensure that we can ensure that they can continue to fish and ensure that there is a livelihood outside of fishing.
My brother, you just put it all there, man. We really appreciate a very informative call from you. I want to thank you for taking the time out.
Thanks very much.
All right, Nigel. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And when you talk about the deep slope fishing, I mean, I'm a deep sea fisher myself. Yeah, and so the equipment are expensive. You know, this is why the $15 will come in. Remember
You come back to that 15.
Yeah, cause
you give me rates, man.
Cause yeah, you know they see when you talk about marine equipment, huge investment. So we need the training. We need people to learn how to read these equipment, how to utilize them, how best, you know, to manage the resources, funds that we get, that we could get the best bang for the buck, you know. And so because of all the restrictions coming in and the new Fish bill coming online, fishers, like I said, is going to have to go outside the reef to make a living. So then that's what it will take. So I urge all fishers all across the country to participate in the workshops, in the training, and not only that, to learn to come and work together. Yes, we fish as a small group, but we bond, because like climate change, it doesn't discriminate. It's going to affect those who have, those who don't have. It doesn't matter about color. When it comes, and who's ready or not, you're going to take a hit.
It's not coming, it's here.
All right, so it's the same thing with this, you know. It's fluid and dynamic, and people must change. If you stay the same way, you'll get left behind.
Well, a great conversation, Mr. Thompson, Miss Anna. It's a great conversation, and it's a pleasure to hear from the people who are living it, who feels it, knows it, they say. And indeed, it's also good to hear about not only the problems we have, but to hear about solutions that are being implemented. I think that is great. And it gives a sense of hope that we can move in the right direction on this. We can turn the corner. And absolutely what I love across the board this morning, what you hear is fisher folks are not someone that you bring the solution to. They are the people that you talk to create the solution. And when they are part of it like that, then it is something that has traction, it has staying power, and you can make movement. So thanks again.
Thank you too.
And happy Reef Week.
Happy Reef Week. That's right.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back with more from Griga. You got one more break remaining, eh?
Yeah, one more break. Yeah. That's why Mr. Cliff the home. Mr. Cliff is very home right now. He don't worry about nobody. So I'm doing.
Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mozart in the house until 9. I want to just thank all the listeners, viewers, everybody. This is Reef Week. Our reef rocks. Protect it. Don't neglect it. Let me just quickly mention that sponsors for Reef Week 2018 coverage here out of Danguiga includes Oceana, Road Safety Projects, Big Men Teach Campaign, Westrack, and Scotia Bank. Those are the sponsors. We want to say respect to them for making it possible. Live from Tuane Garifuna Resort in beautiful Danguiga. And of course, this morning, primarily we spent the conversation hearing from our very special guests. Time is limited. We have a break remaining. If you would like to add anything to this conversation, the straight line, one line, 610-4770. You got to listen to us via the phone if you want to make a good connection. If you try to listen to us through your computer or your television or your radio, it won't make sense because there's a delay in how things now work. You could bring me tea over here for me. I don't worry about nothing, you know. No, no, just bring her right here. Bring her right here. Yeah, don't worry about nothing. Put her right here. Thank you very much, yes. Get really ginger and honey top up. That's great for us. Of course, tomorrow and Friday we're going to have more guests come by. We want you to, check in, make sure that you get all the information. On Friday, this goes out especially to our friends in Guiga, brothers and sisters in Guiga. There is going to be the Reef Fair right in front of us here at the Leo Beni Park. There will be about 35 organizations will be represented. We'll have booths. There will be, significant outreach. A lot of information is going to be available, and it's all a very festive vibe, a family vibe. Students are invited to come out. I know that some of the schools have already been contacted, so they will be coming out here in Danguiga, and we want the event to be really robust. We want it to be well attended, so we depend upon Guiga to come out and support 100. We don't want it at 70, we don't want it at 80, we want it at full 100 on Friday, the Reef Fair. So that's a part of this, the big finale of Reef Week 2018. All right, so make sure you be a part of that. If you're in Guiga, if you're there from far and you want to come, nobody will stop you. But like Guiga turn for the Reef Fair, and we want to make sure that you come out and enjoy it. We do have like a break remaining before we wrap up. Kind of abuse the time and leave it today. So we have a hit back to studios for a final break at the morning. Then we'll come back with a wrap up from Seaside Guiga down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Wednesday morning edition of our show coming to an end here in Guiga. Of course, week continues tomorrow morning. We have health, strength, and all the different equipment work, cooperate, line up, correct? We'll be here to link it and feed your information, initiate conversation, and of course we're in this very luxurious studio on the beach to bring you Wake Up Belize morning vibes. The BTIA branch, Griga branch, reminding folks that the cleanup campaign starts at 6 in the morning tomorrow. So I think yesterday somebody had called in inquiring about the cleanup campaign. It begins at 6. I think it's out here in front of the Alio Benny Park. They had called in, but we were at break, so we couldn't get it on. And they were to call us back, but we're still not to get a call back yet from them. But we are out of time here. Christy, we know the word about parties this morning. Sorry. You to miss out. You could have been there, but you never want there. Yeah? So, we know that burning, but we can't not know. Right, Ras?
That's right.
But we're still thankful that you're there to hold things together. Respect to Marco, respect to our Chief Engineer at Creme JCR Zoo, stationed at Creme Studio, to the team out here, Ras, Harlan, Sharon, Mr. Cliff. We hardly see you, but that's okay. We understand the circumstances. Big up to the host, to one got in front of resort. I mean, it's totally been 100% enjoyable. Respect is due. Griga, enough love. We're there till Friday. To all our guests, respect is due. Belizeans, as always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!